All right, so are there any problems that you want to see done, or do you need to know what the homework assignment is so you can answer that question? Yep. Here's your homework assignment. If you don't have it copied down, please do so. All right, so what does number 35 say? Okay. So when you multiply three objects together, how many things can you multiply together at one time? Two. So am I multiplying the first and the second, or the second and the third? Am I doing like the first two or the last two? Doesn't matter? No, it's multiplication. So what's your personal choice? First two or last two? First two. All right. So you distribute, right? And you just FOIL. So what's W times 4W? 4W squared. W times -1 is negative W. Negative 6 times -4 is negative 24W. Negative 6 times -1 is plus 6. So any major questions on the FOIL, yes or no? So you just distribute, right? This is just like what we did last chapter. Group up your like terms inside. Okay. So now, how many items do we have in this set of parentheses? 3 terms. How many terms here? 2. So when I'm done, how many total pieces should I have? 6, because it's 3 times 2, right? Okay. So now I have to distribute every piece from the left to every piece on the right. So what's 4W squared times -3W? So it'll be -12W cubed plus 20W squared. Plus 75W squared minus 25 times 5 is 125. W minus 18W plus 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Are there any questions on what I'm doing? Like, I know this is long and kind of tedious, but are there any questions on the actual math side? Group up your like terms, and you're going to get -12W cubed plus 95W squared minus 1, 25, 35, 43W plus 30. All right, so any questions on 35? All right, number 13, what's it say?
X to the fourth. Plus x to the fourth, then plus x to the fourth minus 1 minus x to the fourth.
Okay. Whoa. There you go. All right, so you just group up your like terms, right? But first things first, we got to get rid of these parentheses, so I'm going to distribute. What's the number in front of this set of parentheses? This set of parentheses? So does multiplication by a +1 change anything? No. So I'm going to rewrite this statement, and it's going to appear as if the parentheses just magically disappeared. Okay, like our prison jail is built with tin walls. But in reality, we're distributing the +1 through in order to get rid of the parentheses. Everybody okay with that? So now we group up our like terms. So what's the biggest power? X to the fourth. So how many things do I have up here that have an x to the fourth? 2. So what's 1x to the fourth plus an x to the fourth? 2x to the fourth. Right, so remember, whenever you add or subtract, do I ever change powers? No. When you multiply and divide, do you ever change powers? Yes, always. If you're multiplying or dividing bases, you have to change powers. If you're adding or subtracting, you never change powers. Everybody okay with that, yes or no? All right, so 1x to the fourth plus an x to the fourth is 2x to the fourth. I have just 1x cubed term, so it comes down untouched. What's an x squared take away an x squared? 0. +1 take away 1 is 0. 0 times anything is 0, so they cancel out, right? What's -x plus x? Yep. And what's +1 minus 1? 2x to the fourth minus x cubed. Done. Number 41. Please and thank you. Squared, right? Okay. So for this section, I told you you need to turn your book to page 347. 347, you've got a big box that says PE concepts. Has a little Jolly Green Giant, but it'll work. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to match up. Now, I understand that all of you have the ability of taking this statement and going, Pitsley, it's 2c plus 5 times 2c plus 5. I can distribute that, and I can get 4c squared plus 20c plus 25. What are you doing? I know you all have the ability to do that. You ask me all the time for shortcuts. Page 347, those are the shortcuts. Do you have to use the formulas, though?
No.
Never do you have to. If you want to, if they speed you up, which in some situations they do, feel free to use, okay?
Yeah.
So, we should have somewhere an a plus b quantity squared in that list on page 347, right? Okay, what does it say a plus b quantity squared is equal to? There you go, perfect, right? So, if I wanted to use this formula for this setting, how would I go about it? So the first thing I need to do is identify my A and my B. So what is my A term? Close. It's the entire piece. So 2C is my A. What is my B? 5. So instead of foiling this out, I'm going to use the formula, and all I do is I plug in my A and my B to the equation. So again, what is my A term? 2C. So that goes into the A, and it's squared, right? Plus 2, yes, this is the formula. Yep. Nope. Well, actually, you do for the homework. I want you to try using these in this section, okay? Mainly to make sure that you're okay with using the algebraic manipulation that's involved with substituting into a formula, because I have students who make mistakes with it all the time, okay? Now, for a quiz or a test, am I going to ask you to use one of these? Absolutely not. For the homework, I want you to try and use the formulas on page 347. All right? Everybody okay with how I set that up? Yes or no? Okay, so now I evaluate. What is 2c quantity squared? 4c squared. What's 2 times 2c? Times 5. 20c, right? And then what's 5 squared? All right, so the main thing in here is this is how we use your power rules, which you've learned, right? And it's one of those things, sometimes we're looking at power rules and you're like, when are we ever going to use this? Right now. Okay, you're going to have statements next year, in particular, chapters 8, 9, 13, 14, and chapter 11, where we're going to be using powers on the fly. So you're going to have to know your power rules, because once we teach it to you as a basic idea, it's going to keep circling around. Everybody okay with that, yes or no? Okay, so please make sure that you know how to use it. Last one, number 24. Can somebody read that for me real quick, like, before the announcements kick on? All right, so now, again, how many terms do I have on the left? How many on the right? So I'm going to foil and I'm going to get how many? 9. So if you need this, make sure that you keep up. Because it's time to put the hammer down. So keep your pace. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I get hit that point of tired where I'm not really tired anymore. Yeah, and then I'm going to crash like a punk later. Oh, it's going to be bad. -3, negative 31d squared. I'm going to go down swinging. Oh, son of a gun. That's not right. That's -25. All right, so please make sure you got this ready to go.